So after 15 years of doing this, we've been kicked in the nards a few times. One time we got legitimately stranded on an island. One time we had a tropical storm that turned into almost a hurricane blow in. It feels like the further you go, the more adventurous you are, the more you explore, you're gonna get these wild results and find just this crazy awesome thing. But our good results are not as good as most people's good results. And I think a lot of the cause from this is that we just don't have the funds to just throw at a crazy trip to where you pretty much guaranteed some type of result. So we end up getting kind of the short end of the stick a lot of times. So after 15 years of doing this and failing more times than not, I think we finally figured out this time that maybe we should book a contingency plan. We had found out about a guy down there by the name of Nick Denbow.
Yeah, I didn't have breakfast, I mean. You guys are getting me up too early.
And had several different people tell us that he was a real deal.
Right now, but it's... oh, there you go, rolling tarpon. Did you see him?
No, I didn't.
If I wanted a tattoo of a fish, I'd probably get this guy. It's the prettiest thing I've ever seen.
We started talking to Nick and realized pretty quickly that he had the same type of style that we did with fishing.
I cater for the people who aren't on that lodge experience. We do a lot of wading. If we're on the beaches, it's all on foot. We're in the surf, which kind of separates it from the carpeted front of a skiff or a lodge boat. The range of fish that are fly-friendly here is almost endless. And one day walking the beach, you don't really know what you're gonna see.
So we're like, okay, we're speaking our language, let's talk. And he was just all about finding the fish. No matter how bad the conditions were, whatever the week gave us, he was gonna say, let's figure it out. We started fishing with Nick and we started finding some fish, started catching some fish. Everybody started catching some fish, which is super rare for us. Some guys catching triggerfish. We had some yellow jacks, barracuda. We even got some jack crevalle on the beach and would just come in and crash bait. Guys running down the beach, kind of doing a poor man's Baja, if you will. And got into some pretty fun stuff. Week was going great, and then he says, I want to show you guys something. And that's when it got wild. Cenotes are one of the coolest fisheries I've ever seen. It was truly sight fishing at its finest. It was one of the most fun things we've ever done. And Nick told us that it was not gonna be an easy one to get to, not for the faint of heart. And we said, hey, let's do it, it's up our alley. And we get there and he was not lying. It was not easy to get to. We had a 14-foot John boat and had to pull that thing through a mangrove tunnel in pretty much knee-deep mud and muck. Finally poke out to the outside and we're like, all right, we're here, let's do it. It's, 18 inches deep and the water was, clear apple juice, and you see black back coming down and there's a tarpon. It was incredible.
These cenote lagoons are really quite unique. And it's a crazy story how it all came about. The Yucatan Peninsula basically formed as this flat pancake of land by that big meteorite that killed the dinosaurs. It was a very bad day for every non-avian dinosaur. When that meteorite struck, it liquefied the rock, and for a brief moment in time, this was liquefied rock right up in the air, miles up in the air, and then it splatted down like a water drop and created the Yucatan Peninsula. And if you map all of the major cenotes, they're all in concentric rings around that crater site. And these cenotes, there's no surface rivers, run subterranean, it's all underground, making these lagoons landlocked but connected to the ocean by underground rivers. I believe the correct term is anchialine systems. And it's just an entrance into the underground cave systems. So the Mayans were the first people to live in this part of the world, and they used the cenotes as a place to hide because they're caves. They would hide in them and they would do sacrifices in them, and the Mayan name is cenote. A classic Mayan word begins DZ, which means holy well. And then here we are inland in a cenote lagoon. And these tarpon, snook, needlefish will run that fresh water and pop up in these inland lagoons. There's a fish coming down the shoreline at 11 o'clock, I believe, just off that route. Yep, move them.
Yep. Drip, 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 drip.
Drip.
Yep.
Nice.
Nick was pulling us along, and every 3 or 4 minutes, a couple cruising down the bank, see that black back, put a fly right in front of them, trip a couple times, they blow up on it, jump around, just destroying anything we put in front of them. They were definitely not hesitating on eating a fly.
Loves it. Yep. Holy sh.
We got down to a fly that was just a piece of plenty strip, barely hanging on. Tarpon ate all of them, and I said, "Can we throw topwater at these guys, Nick?" And he goes, "Yeah, sometimes." We didn't think for 1 second that, okay, we're gonna go tarpon fish, like let's bring poppers, right? But I had one left over in my box. And I was like, "Would this work?" He said, "We could try it." Basically frog patterns. So we throw that thing on, throw it out one time.
Up. Up.
Explodes on it, and everybody just starts screaming and saying, "Oh, holy sh!" And then we realized that we can start fishing these things on topwater, and that turned into insanity real quick. To watch a fish open its mouth, gill flare, and eat something, but just something different about topwater when it comes underneath it and just explodes out of the water. Sometimes things just work out for you. If you fail long enough, 15 years, go through a lot of failures to get one big win, and it makes that win that much sweeter. The one thing we learned was tarpon love frogs.